The House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources Midstream invited the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) for an interactive session on how to have a better working relationship with the committee. The committee chairman, Honorable Prince Henry Okoje, in his opening address, commended the authority for an impressive turnout for the meeting despite the short notice. He assures the committee's capability, says the leadership of the House of Representatives carefully selected the committee members as they are all familiar with the oil sector.
I must commend you for turning out in these numbers. And also, I know my members, they might be curious why the authority is not here, but the letter was sent to that effect to show that they took us very seriously. So he sent one of his senior executive director to represent him here. So you are all welcome. The reason for this meeting is this is the first time we're having this kind of meeting. And I believe that you who are not new to the National Assembly, yes, probably at the ninth assembly or the eighth assembly, you've been here before. But you've not had the opportunity to sit down with the mainstream sector of the committee because this is the first bidding committee in the Federal House of Representatives, the 10th Assembly. So it is important that we have this interactive section so that we can have a cordial mode of engagement. You understand? That is why we decided to call this meeting so that you speak to the members will know you, then we'll have a good working relationship. Like I always tell everybody, this committee, if you look at the honorable members sitting there, they were well selected by the leadership of this assembly. And they were well selected and put in this committee. So these men have vast knowledge in the oil and gas sector. And by that merit, they were asked to serve in this committee. I will say that we in this committee, we owe you people the duty of care, like I always say. We are not in any way going to fight. All we need to do is that we have mutual respect for one another. Now, we've just sent out a letter a few days ago, and you have turned out your number. Even the authority that is not here sent a letter of apology. That shows that he has some level of respect for this institution. So we must commend him for that. Having said that, we'll call for this meeting so that we can, know your level of operation, your engagement, the way you both, work and everything, so that we know how to. Our duty as legislators is to carry out our oversight, and that we are going to do without, fear or favor. But then we must work as one team, knowing that we are one family. That is my mode of operation. So having said that, I'm going to have to call you people to tell us your mode of operations, how you operate, the areas where you need our help, legislative help. And we are sure that as you have sent an olive hand towards us by, coming to this invitation, we also extend that olive hand to you people by making sure that we are able to solve your challenges. There's no areas where we don't have challenges. But your areas where you have challenges, you bring it down before us. We as a committee will look into it and find a possible solution to those challenges. So on that note, I want to invite the authority to give us some insight about your operations.
The Executive Director, Distribution System, Storage and Retailing Infrastructure, Mr. Ogbugo Ukoha, expressed the readiness of NMDPRA to cooperate with the committee, gave insight into the structure, challenges, benefits, and plan of the authority.
PRA, that we've always enjoyed a very warm relationship with the National Assembly. The last committees that supervised us in the House, led by Honorable Gaya, will attest to that, the Downstream Committee. The committee in the Senate as well, then led by distinguished Senator Nakudu. We worked very well with them as well for 4 years. And you can be rest assured that at NMDPRA we will take very seriously the relationship that we enjoy with the legislature. And that's all we can extend to you. Today, we were having an earlier meeting scheduled with the Minister of Gas, our supervisory minister, And yet, when it was 1:30, we appealed to him. We said, no, we have to go to our landlords. And he understood and graciously obliged us. So that's the kind of warm, cordial relationship we would like to have with the legislature.
He gave explanations on areas the committee should help the authority prioritize, amongst which are oil and gas value chain, says the midstream is the promise and the real growth potential of the country. Mr. Ogbugo assures their full cooperation as they look forward to collaborating with the committee to grow the industry. He stated that crude oil refining, product storage and others as the midstream activities, says every energy should be focused on increasing refining capacity so there will be less pressure on Naira.
Which is the oil and gas value chain. And I would really commend this page to the committee because with the delineations in accordance with the PIA, the handshake seems to be moving from between the upstream and down and midstream now to the to the midstream. The midstream, as this committee would have already recognized, is actually the promise for the country. The growth potentials of the industry is in the midstream, both in terms of generating revenue, output of products, and in terms of employment. The downstream and the upstream are related. The real growth is in the midstream, and that is where we'll be looking to partner and collaborate with this committee in growing the industry. So with the value chain, you can see that the marketing and trading of crude oil is in the midstream.
Reacting to the presentation, member of the committee expressed displeasure in the volume of information availed to them, requested for a more detailed document.
Demonstrated to us that you run on taxpayers' money. And one of the functions of this parliament is to appropriate funds. So I was actually thinking that we're coming here to look at the books, what you have achieved in the last 1 year with taxpayers' resources and budget performance, for us as lawmakers to be able to peruse and ask the necessary questions. So this presentation is more or less like a literature work to mesmerize the parliament. We'd like you to do justice to that, sir.
Legislative year, like now, might assembly too, you want to improve on this document, the same document it was. Tech assembly, you are getting this document. I want to sincerely support Honorable Hart. There's nothing of interest here that one we want to work with. On a serious note, I'm sorry, but I have to be frank. There's nothing to work on. You are advertising your authority. You are promoting your authority without telling us what you have achieved since inception. So people have benefited from so people have benefited from. No, it's not there. So I want us to really have a second view. Let them go and get us something, just like the budget. My colleague mentioned on the budget. How much you want to do? How much? Rather, you have told us that you inherited other social people on the payroll. Please.
I only wanted you to stress this fact because sometime in April, between April to May 2022, there are incidences of importation of adulterated fuel. At that particular period, a motion was raised and it was the House Committee on that stream was mandated to investigate and find out. It created a lot of issues around that particular period. Now, with the PIA in place, how do the authority intend to strengthen its regulatory responsibility?
I want to be a rider to what my first spokesperson said regarding to the appropriation. National Assembly members, our first and our priority, we are to appropriate. In terms of appropriation, I think you have narrated so many points, which include our reservoirs, tanks that you have made in case of incases. In terms of appropriation, we need to know what are the content the Nigerians have in their reservoirs. You need to speak to the document. We should know. Assuming now I'm from Niger State, we have reservoir at Pego, at Mina. Due to my own little experience, I used to see so many times BMS, AGO used to supply there, but I never see the time that they are evacuating it for the other reasons. And we have into so many dangers, so many scarcity, so many things. To why things are used to be kept without distributing, and why Nigerians, we need to know how much do we have in Niger reservoirs, Port Harcourt, Gusau, and so and so.
An honorable from Niger Delta area expressed anger on how gas flaring is affecting his constituency, yet no compensation from the authority. He further requested a detailed document on how the revenues generated from flare penalties are being utilized.
I would like to, my name remains Hart Cyril Godwin, representing Bonny Degema Fidro constituency. If you look at this document, you will see that my community, my constituency is mentioned in this document. So I would want to take it from there. Honorable Agbase has made the point that we are here to look at budgetary provision, how money has been expended, which is not contained here. Chairman, I would like to say that I'm particularly disappointed with the outcome of the NMDPRA. Disappointed in the sense that even the document that is brandished here, if you look at where they talked about the midstream and downstream gas infrastructure fund and the proposed investments, Mr. Chairman, the source of these funds to this fund is partly gas flare penalties. 0.5% of monies from petroleum products. I will limit my conversation to gas flare penalties because I am a victim here. I come from Bonny, where gas is flared uncontrollably. Mr. Chairman, that money was meant, if you look at the PIA section 104, it was meant, first, to remedy the environment. Second, to give relief to the immediate sufferers. It is genocidal, Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, for me to inhale gas flared by multinationals and you pay penalty to this authority and they abandon us. That is the highest form of genocide. And I'm looking at how they want to spend this fund. LPG, LNG, infrastructure, flare gas, all infrastructure, nothing that talks about humans here. Nothing talks about the benefit to the people. No relief to those of us who inhale this gas on a daily basis. As I speak to you here, NLNG is still flaring, whereas NLNG is supposed to be a solution to gas flaring. I was with Philip yesterday. Direct talks here. I want to speak to your consciences, you're all Nigerians. It's not about revenue. It's not about money, it's about people. Bonny local government area was locked down during the COVID more than any LGA in this country. Why? Because we hail gas. Chairman, honorable colleagues, I would want them to come up with a detailed plan on how they want to spend these funds that runs into millions of dollars to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians, who, by the way, are not just only Bonny people. If you come to Bonny, you will see Yorubas, you see Hausas. They're all living there using gas. It is not particular to where I come from. It is the same for Delta. It is the same for Ondo, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, Edo, Lagos, indeed. My friends from Nasarawa, if you are not careful, today oil has been found in Nasarawa. If you are not careful, the same injustice meted on us, the Niger Deltans, will befall you, but God forbid.
Executive Director, if you look at the midstream industry refining, the government refineries that do have about 445,000 capacity is still under rehabilitation. And it has been long. These refineries are under, despite the fact that we have removed oil subsidy. What are the constraints? What are the challenges? Why these companies or the refineries are not in production? Secondly, there was a time when the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, commissioned the Dangote refinery. And from what I'm reading on the social media and the other sources of information, that there is probably not cogent agreement between the suppliers of the crude to Dangote to produce at least the 300,000 metric tons per day. And what you told us, do I take it as, rhetorics just for the purpose of hearing? And even the active one, if you look at it, it is only 29%, 29,500 metric tons probably, or liters. And the consumption of the finished products is so huge in this country. Sir, what efforts are you putting to at least bridge this gap immediately? And if there is legislation that you may require from us to come in. Secondly, sir, I felt the same feeling from my brother from Bonny, because Bauchi and Gombe will soon be into the quagmire these people are. And gas flaring is prohibited. It is not about the penalty. It is about what we are wasting in flaring. It is much better to the Nigerian economy if we put it to the right usage. Sir, what efforts are you using to reduce the flaring of this gas in order not to even get the penalties, but revert the gas flared into an economic advantage to the nation?
In response to the question asked, Mr. Ogbogo reiterated their commitment to the committee, says they will avail the committee detailed documents when requested, as they have nothing to hide. Comfort Olayinka, DCTV News.